Welcome to Hungary, one of the racetracks of the season that I've had trouble with, and oh boy, this is a racetrack, that is for sure. I can say it's not going to be on the F1 calendar that I have set, and I will reveal that in either the last video or the like a community post on YouTube. But I do have the schedule set for F1. But unfortunately, or fortunately for me, we're not doing Hungary. Unfortunately, we're doing Hungary. And I have a last-minute qualifying lap to try and set. I have been struggling throughout the entire session. And this is one of those tracks where it's fun when you get into a flow and everything, but I think I just didn't get the setup correct or something, because I was not able to carry as much momentum as I thought I was going to be able to. It might be a product of like the AI being stupidly more overpowered for some reason, because I know Singapore, I think in F123 had the same issue where I could have the AI set to like 95 throughout all the tracks, and then at Singapore, same level, they are just significantly faster for whatever reason. So maybe it's that, maybe it's just me not knowing how to drive Hungary good, to be fair, especially with that kind of mistake there. So that mistake only nets me as we go across the line up to, spoiler alert, just P16. But we move on to the sprint race regardless. And from P16 on the grid, a little bit more wheel spin. Bortoleto does not get going. And we managed to have a really, really good start, all the way up 5 positions, potentially more. If we can get alongside Antonelli and Hajar, we get by both, and we just barely make contact with Marti. Well, I say that, we just barely avoid making contact with Marti, but we are still challenging Antonelli, who is directly alongside us. Both of us, myself and Antonelli, have gotten by Isaac Hajar, luckily. We're not in the most ideal lane in terms of the corner, but we do get by Kimi Antonelli. We see the gap is there for Pepe Marti, but we just can't really capitalize and make a move in time. So we'll settle in line and just follow through for the moment. Now we'll make our move, but we just can't quite get there under braking. And it could just be a struggle for me with Hungary, because I'm not carrying as much speed as I should be into some corners. I can tell that in hindsight, that is for sure, but it is such a demanding track, and it's borderline impossible to pass. It flows a little bit too much, if that makes any sense. But we did end up losing some spots. I don't know why I cut that out. We did end up spinning and losing some spots down to P19. We spun in turn 1. I guess I mistakenly cut that out, so that's why we are P19 instead of P16, or P10, I guess. So now it's a matter of just trying to survive to the end. Hope we can catch up a little bit. Lap 4, we have caught up to Taylor Barnard, luckily, but he brakes so much because of the other cars in front of him. And again, it's another improvement because Victor Martin's holding up everybody. It's another improvement that I hope is a thing for F127. Arguably, this should be codable, fixable coding, I should say, for the AI, even for without having to make a whole new game. But both myself and Cordial get by Richard Verschoor. Barnard is right on top of our rear wing, and I go very strongly defensive on corner entry, but kind of open myself up as Verschoor sneaks the nose in, but isn't able to really make anything of it due to the next corner that we have here through the uphill. So trying to make our way back up through the field, through the sprint race, but we jump ahead now to lap 8, well, to lap 15, making our way by Cordial very easily past turn number 1. So we are up to P16 once again, back to where we started. We have closed up to Victor Martins. That double upshift had killed my momentum though. Luckily it's not enough that Cordial is able to get alongside us, at least I'm hoping, to the braking zone, and that is the case, as O'Sullivan and Paul Aaron are side by side for P13, with O'Sullivan losing out on that DRS. Martins not really able to capitalize, surprisingly enough, so we are stuck here defending from Cordial as we skip ahead to the latter stages of the sprint race. The next lap on lap 17. A little bit farther ahead of Cordial, and we will send it for a double overtake on both Martins and O'Sullivan, both ART cars. At least I think they're ART. as we move up to P14. But look at how far Aaron is up ahead now. 3.6 seconds ahead. And we are just not closing whatsoever. So the chance of getting points was kind of there at the start. And I kind of bottled it, and I bottled it again here with hitting the throttle too early. And we will tumble down the order once again to P19. And that pretty much seals it for the rest of the race. We'll come through, not even crossing the start-finish line. Dirksen caught up to us in the last 4 laps, if that says anything. I don't remember if that's pure pace or if I did have another moment, but if that says anything, Joshua Dirksen catching us, the chance of our firm championship lead has drastically been lost.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
And as a result of me being washed, we have a 45-point gap now between ourselves and Ollie Behrman as we head into the feature race.
Welcome to the Hungaroring here in Hungary, just a short distance from Budapest. This is a circuit with a lot of history in motorsport. Which of our F2 drivers here today, I wonder, will add to that legacy? The Hungaroring is located 12 miles northeast of the capital, Budapest. It's 2.7 miles long, featuring 14 corners, and it's got a reputation for making overtaking difficult. Nevertheless, there's a history of some truly exceptional races here. Let's hope our Formula 2 drivers can serve up some more of that today. We are nearly ready for the start of today's race, but in the meantime, let's take a look at the grid. Isaac Hadjar lines up on pole position, and it's Andrea Kimi Antonelli in P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Pepe Marti, Cola Pinto, Joshua Dirksen, Behrman, Correa, Maloney, Hauger, Enzo Fittipaldi, Crawford, Bortoletto, Zach O'Sullivan, Richard Verschoor, Aaron, Frostbite, Cordial, Victor Martins, Barnard, Miata, Miney, and Roman Stanek completes the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's get down to the track.
As the race starts.
As you can probably tell from the eventual chapters that I will add, this is going to be a very, 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 very short recap. You want to know why? I hate this track. That's why. Unironically, this is not the most enjoyable track. At least I survived Monaco. I didn't like it, but at least I survived Monaco. We get a fantastic start here, all things considered, so we're able to get alongside our teammate Fittipaldi. But I think this is the only time he's outqualified us in the entire career. I'd have to double check that, but I'm pretty sure this is the only race where Fittipaldi has outqualified us and actually been successful in some way, shape, or form, at least in comparison. But we are on a stormer of a first lap, all the way up to P7. Again, really hoping that at some point the AI behavior off the racing line is adjusted, at least for this race, or at least for this game. That would be fantastic. But we have a little bit of a moment, but we do manage to stick behind Behrman as we completely fumble the corner exit, and contact to Hauger breaks our entire front wing. And you see the double stop there. That's, yeah, I wish that was fake. It's not. That pretty much ruins our entire race. That one moment. I tried to hope that the AI car would be like, oh yeah, there's a car off track and it might rejoin. Not, it's going to stay off track, I'll stay on the racing line. So, both myself and Hauger will box for a new set of tires and a new front wing, but from the amount of the race that I ran, it was not worthy of staying involved in this race. And Spa was definitely way better, as we'll follow Hauger into the pit road, cutting it really close on pit entry with 59 kilometers an hour. But I'll skip ahead to lap number 17, where the field is pretty much behind us both at this point. And I'm already setting up for the next round of pit stops. Trying to hope for a safety car or something, but the corner exit gets me here once again. And that is pretty much the race over for me. Could I hope for a safety car and get back around? Sure, but not with the quote-unquote strategy that I'm on. So we go ahead and let Pepe Marti through, as well as Oliver Behrman, who's P5, at least as of him passing us. And I decide that, especially with this moment here, not even trying, genuinely not even trying,
There's a new strategy available on the MFD.
it is a race, that is for sure. I was not having a good time, so I decided that the best thing to do, instead of suffering, I'm not going to get any advantage from staying out. Even if there is a safety car, I just decided to pull in and retire from this race. So the second early retirement of the season for us. And we'll move on swiftly to the sprint race and qualifying for Spa. Now you might be wondering, wait, what are the points for the last race? That's a good question. I just immediately left the last race once I was done with that one. So once I retired, I looked at the standings. Well, not the standings, but I did look at the actual finishing results, but I didn't open the point standings. So I don't know the points gap, but I do show it after the after Spa at least. So don't worry, we'll all know a little bit later on. But right now is the fastest lap in qualifying for Spa as per usual, and I am putting it in right at the last second because hey, what's a little bit of a late submission. You can see how close I am. So the best lap time currently is tied to my third place time right now. And I am 2/10 already, almost 3/10 of a second down on Bortoleto. So it is not looking good for getting P1.
30 seconds left in the session.
So my hope at this point is just at least to get past Ollie Behrman, because I know at least I'm fighting him in the championship. It would be nice to at least get to P2 so I can get a better start, have a better chance of getting a good start as well during the sprint race. That's a sentence. That totally makes sense. Anyway, we're coming up close to the second sector, and I am not improving too much. I was struggling through the second sector a little bit, not here, but it's more the run-up. So I've kind of managed to nail this corner this time, gain about 1/10 of a second, and here it's a little bit wide and a little bit tentative on the throttle, but we are 7/1000 of a second faster than Bortoleto by this point. Complete session fastest in Sector 2. So there is a chance of me getting into the at least second place, because I'm only at 10th down on my time. Bortoleto is 157.3. I'm only tracking for a 157.4 just about, and we lose all of that time here in the chicane. In the second corner, we gain all that back, and it's full throttle to the line, just enough to get P1.
Really, really well done. That was a fantastic drive. Bring it home. Good launch as the race starts.
And we are away for the sprint race at Spa. We get a lightning start, at least what would have been a lightning start. We spin the tires a little bit, but we do get ahead of Ollie Behrman, split 3 wide with Colapinto, and that's going to force out Behrman outside of the points, at least for a moment, but Behrman does manage to get by Colapinto there, as now it's just going to be the usual run upwards from Eau Rouge to Radion. That's Radion to Eau Rouge. Whoops. Down the Camel Straight. The thing that I have noticed is that the straight line speed, like, I am directly behind O'Sullivan, but there's no like evening out in terms of slipstream, and I don't know why. As O'Sullivan quote unquote locks up, but he does not go straight on like a player would. So I am trying very desperately to get by O'Sullivan and risking the front wing in the process, but we do manage to get by O'Sullivan here into the chicane as we skip through to the end of the lap. I do just leave enough space. I definitely keep that in mind as we will complete the run-up and complete the first lap and follow through to get that DRS off of Isaac Hajar. Through we go, downhill. I always love this track, honestly. It's a lot of fun to carry the speed through here and just blast full throttle. Through Radion, then Eau Rouge. Or it's Eau Rouge from Radion. I actually forget the order of... I'm sure it's fine. We'll come back to that later, maybe. As we activate DRS, we will not be able to catch Hajar by the end of the Camel Straight, but this is what we're doing with top speed of 305, I think 306 kilometers an hour, just barely, as we set the fastest first sector time. A little bit later on in the lap, we are stronger in Sector 2 compared to the AI cars, I know that much. So we are going to be trying to stick the front wing to the inside of Isaac Hajar as he tries to defend, but Not really the most committed, but we will stay alongside through Blanchimont, as that will force Hajar to back out. And can we get Miata into the chicane? Definitely not. Not enough time. But we will be able to capitalize on the closeness of that DRS as well. Maybe into the source as we set the fastest lap. And definitely not risking a move into turn number 1. It's just absolutely not worth it. But this is pretty much how the entirety of the sprint race went, is just following everybody through and hoping that we have enough overspeed through the Kemmel Straight. 9 times out of 10, we do not. But through the uphill, it's like the AI actually, I think the AI, genuinely, I think they actually like brake on the uphill. They let off the throttle on the uphill because they are absolutely not confident on the uphill through Radion / Eau Rouge or Eau Rouge / Radion. I actually forget the order of the two. I was not committed fully alongside Miata, but he does leave enough space for me to keep the car there and then get by through up to P4 this time. And then we do end up chasing down Maloney over the course of a couple of laps. And, well, you already know how it is by this point. You see pattern emerging, I'm sure, is that we will get by Maloney into the bus stop chicane, is what I would say if I wasn't being smart about this. We are 3 seconds ahead of Miata, and I have DRS. So I figured the best point for me right here is just to wait until turn 1. And now we'll go for the gap, go for the move, and we'll get up to 3rd place and try and get by Roman Stanek. But of course, with the gap that it is here, it is not enough to matter for about 3 laps. We don't have the overspeed up until here, as Roman Stanek goes through the uphill. It's so slow on the uphill. I'm genuinely surprised the AI are that slow. Stanek also has DRS, but so do we, but we will be way more confident on the brakes here, at least try to be. They're both closing into Miney. I try and slipstream, but he's still pulling forward, and I don't understand that. I think that might genuinely be a bug. I'm on version 1.16 as of, I think actually as I recorded this, they updated to version 1.16 from 1.15. I forget when the update happened. I think it was a good majority of the second half of the season that was recorded on 1.16. Here we'll get by Stanek. And the AI straight line is still a little bit of an issue, the straight line speed of the AI. And sometimes it is pretty... the word I'm looking for isn't relevant, it's apparent. As we do finally get by Roman Stanek, and we now set our sights on Kushmini. With how close we are out of La Source, we have a huge opportunity here just before the halfway point of the race to not only catch up to Miney, especially as he slows up through here through the uphill, but as well as the aid of DRS. But we are so far back, I wouldn't be surprised if anything were to happen, but we'll follow through regardless. Stay directly in line with Miney, try for the uphill, try for the overspeed I should say, but just way, way too far back. We do set a fastest first sector and the fastest lap the next lap, as this time, now that we're fully 1 second ahead of Roman Stanek, just barely trying to stay ahead at least, so he doesn't have DRS. We cross the DRS detection point, we are fully behind Miney, we are out of range of Stanek, and that means it is time to get by Miney. We would barely even need DRS, but about here is where we do need that DRS detection. There it is. And it is a very, very simple pass as we'll go through to the right-hand side and move ourselves up into the lead for the first time this race as Miney tries to fight back under braking through the Lacombe chicane. We actually go off track trying to give him space, and we unintentionally force him off just a little bit, at least wash out wide, rather than forcing him off the track. And the run for lead was going pretty well for the most part in the second half of this, but we get a little bit loose, and all of the time advantage that we had was pretty much erased right here. As Miney gets alongside us, he will go through back into the lead. I just put too much tire on the curb there. Debatably the grass as well, so we have lost the lead, at least temporarily. It's going to be a pretty easy way to get the lead back, and it's just going to be a simple waiting for the DRS detection point again here. We wouldn't even need it, but here we do. I keep saying we don't need it, but we kind of do actually need it to get by. And the overspeed is once again successful, and again, we finally get by Miney. And hopefully this time we'll actually stay ahead of Miney way more this time, actually securing the position through the Lacombe chicane rather than halfway through and kind of inadvertently pushing him wide. And this time through, it's just a matter of defensive driving, which is relatively easy considering mine is 7/10 of a second back. Even with DRS, he would not be able to catch us. And so go defensive, right back to the racing line, and then continue forward up until lap number 14, where, shockingly, after making a gap of 3 seconds, somehow at Spa versus the AI with DRS, we make a mistake. A little bit wide and tires in the gravel. Again, it's the same thing, but we got very lucky in terms of the front wing contact. I almost flick spinning around. Flick spun? Clutch dump? I don't know. We almost flick spun it around into the actual tire barrier, the concrete wall. What tire barrier is there? Into the concrete wall, not the tire barrier. And we have very clearly lost our place from P1 down to P10, so it is a climb back up the order once again. We stake with Bortoletto, and we'll pass in, entering the Lacombe chicane once again. A very easy pass, all things considered. Sector fastest in Sector 1 once again. I don't know if I improved on the 159.6. I do not. Oh, this is the end of the lap, actually. As we do catch up to Kimi Antonelli. Miata is so slow in comparison. I am very surprised that Antonelli was not able to get through. We have a little bit of a moment on corner exit, and we still get the fastest lap. Now go to the inside of Kimi Antonelli. We are back into the points once again as we fail the very unnecessary objective of be an average of 2 seconds faster than the lap times you've been setting, because yeah, that makes total sense, because we don't need to deal with tire management as we are just stuck behind Miata here on the uphill. But again, DRS, much like the pass that we made with Kushmaini, it'll be a very easy pass as we try and claw our way through. I go more to the inside lane as Miata leaves the racing line open. A little bit of contact on the floor, the side pod, what have you, of the Formula 2 car, but we are up to P7, and we will skip ahead to lap 17, coming to lap 18, where there is a train of cars, because the lead car of Miney is so slow. Shockingly, Behrman and Colapinto side by side for P5 as we go through for the final lap. So it's going to be very easy for us. Colapinto locks up, and we fly through into La Source as the lead car of this train is so slow. And again, I'm going to bring it up. I will keep bringing this up until they fix it. I am surprised that the AI cars cannot pass an AI car with DRS cannot pass an AI car without DRS. It is very surprising to me, considering I am able to do it so easily. Players are able to do it so easily. So I don't know if it's a AI strength thing or what, but at least through here it's a literal DRS train, so we aren't able to do anything until about a very, what's the word I'm looking for? A not normal place to make a pass for a position here. As we go by Behrman up to P6. As Miney is just absolutely holding up the entire field, somehow on his own at Spa without DRS. But this is allowing us to capitalize on any and all positions that do exist in front of us, and I am just pushing and pushing and pushing, because I know the more ahead that we are Behrman, the more points that we can gain in terms of the championship. So we go by Colapinto now, who sticks his nose to the rear axle, but it's not going to stay there for long. We just barely tag the gravel, and being a little bit more careful, we lock up the right front a few times, but we are able to stay ahead this time, keep it mostly neat and tidy, all things considered. As you come through towards Blanchimont, this is going to be the last chance for us to actually make a pass of some sort, and very likely it's going to be Maloney instead of Hadjar, as much as I wanted to pass Hadjar and get P3. But Maloney will go defensive. We go more towards the inside, and Maloney is actually going to help us open the door to Hadjar, but Hadjar stays way to the left-hand side, so we will come across for P4 in the sprint race.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
Located in the Ardennes countryside, Spa has been hosting races for almost a century, and it's revered by drivers and fans alike. So it's a joy to be here today as we prepare for the next thrilling instalment of the Formula 2 race calendar. So here we are again, a whopping 3.5 miles of track here at Spa, featuring long straights, some seriously fast corners, and some massive elevation changes. This is a track that routinely delivers high-quality racing, and we'll be hoping to see just that from our young F2 drivers today. Here are the starting positions for today's race. Frostbite lines up on pole position, and it's Gabriel Bortoletto in P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Behrman, Colapinto, Zach O'Sullivan, Hadjar, Miata, Maloney, Miney, Roman Stanek, Antonelli, Dirksen, Jack Crawford, Juan Manuel Correa, Martins, Aaron, Fittipaldi, Pepe Marti, Verschoor, Cordial, Hauger, and Taylor Barnard completes the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's get down to the track.
Drivers as the lights go out.
And we go racing here at Spa. It's going to be a pretty quick recap, all things considered, of the race, because it is a very cut and dry race for the most part, although quite literally speaking, it is a more of a slashed and wet race. I don't know what the opposite of cut would be. Slice? No, that's not even an opposite. Anyway, we are in the lead ahead of Ollie Behrman. You might be wondering, wait, what happened to the points? Where are they? I just don't think I clicked on those for the standings after the sprint race, so that's my bad. Whoops. But I do show it quite literally after the future races. Behrman does close in a little bit, but not really able to capitalize and make a move here, as it is a very self-explanatory race down to the latter portions. As we will jump ahead all the way up to lap 4, where we move our way into the chicane. Again, this is one of those moments where I leave in intentionally at the latter part of editing, where this is just what you're missing. Not much. I'm leading, sometimes I set fast laps, there's nothing interesting to keep in here, all things considered, so it's very riveting stuff, isn't it? As we jump ahead to lap number 10, another very exciting portion of the race. Yeah, this is about it. This is all I did through the race. As we will cut through to lap 11. Surely there's a reason that I included lap 11 here. Coming to lap 12 is, yes, the first round of pit stops. Usually leaving the call for pit stops too. We just get it in time, so enough time to relax, as we are 5 seconds out of Bortoletto and a collective 15-ish seconds ahead of everybody else. Bortoletto just snuck up out of nowhere, by the way, in terms of having pace in some of these races. He was very fast at Red Bull Ring, so I think it does track, no pun intended, that he would be fast at Spa as well.
Enzo's in the pits. Enzo is in the pits now.
And double stacking with VAR, and that, I hate that so much. I hate the pit exit of the Formula 2 cars so much. I don't know why they slide like that. I really hope that gets fixed for, I guess, F127 at this point. But we set sail and move on to the rainy portion of the race, where the rain just starts to set in here at, towards the portion of No Name Corner. And this is the part where I decide, yeah, it's probably time to head to pit road and box for slicks. Especially considering the...
At least another 10 minutes until this rain evens out.
There it is. I knew I should have known myself too, but I will reinforce myself. Actually, the game will enforce my decision to box. I made the call well before the team, about half a lap sooner. And then I triple reinforce the fact that, hey, by the way, I'm boxing this lap. But not like it really matters whether or not I call out the box, I don't think. Because the team would know regardless, because you'll be in pit road either way. So we go a little bit wide because the track is starting to get a little bit more greasy. It's not fully wet, but greasy enough to the point where we have to be quite careful here on pit entry, as, oh man, 47 kilometers an hour at the line. That was cutting it close in terms of pit stops. So we're in pit road for the second time, a double stop, and this is it. This is all I've done for the race. You see O'Sullivan's 23.6 seconds back, and we're in pit road, by the way. I think that's as of pit entry, as everyone's coming in for the wet tires. And that time I learned the actual pit release. I'm going to be very careful here learning from my mistakes at the Red Bull ring. We track out a little bit wide, but not to the point where the left side tires are crossing over the racing line. Maloney and Correa surprisingly decided to stay out. And keep an eye on that gap between myself and Maloney, but mostly Maloney and Bortoletto. They're about 2 seconds separated. Watch as we fade through here. 9.2 seconds and 9.4 seconds. Bortoletto should have been easily able to pass Maloney, but some reason the AI just doesn't know how to pass slower cars. I love this game sometimes, and it really makes me miss league racing so much, because I would love to do league racing with actual people so I can, you know, not deal with the AI being sometimes very stupid. But otherwise, it is a very done and dusted race, because we will cut through towards the latter portion of the race 7 seconds ahead of Gabby Bortoletto, and a collective, not even collective, but total 28-ish seconds ahead of Kimi Antonelli. But what matters to me is that we are ahead of Behrman, Hadjar, and Antonelli, the 3 other title rivals in the fight, and we get another win on our belt, this time here at Spa.
Oh, you worked hard for that one. Congratulations. Well done.
So after all of these shenanigans, we are 47 points ahead of Behrman, 58 ahead of Antonelli, and 73 ahead of Hadjar. We have 4 more races left, and it's looking likely that we can lock up the title before the season is over, but we still have 4 races left.